I never had any experiences that really freaked me out, except this one. I was around 11 years old and was with my sister and her friends. We're all girls. They were all around 16 years old and they were taking me trick-or-treating. We were going door to door to get candy and playing with silly string. I kept getting this weird feeling, like I was looking behind me constantly and I had no clue why. Around 9:30 p.m., I turned around quickly and there was a guy dressed up as a clown about 2 yards behind us. I wasn't really scared about this because I like clowns, and since this was the first time I saw him, I figured that he was just trick-or-treating. But he followed us for another hour, never getting candy and waiting for us at each house we stopped at. At this point, I was stressing and told my sister about the clown. She decided that we try to go a completely different route and see if he still follows us. So we all crossed the street and he followed us. My sister absolutely hates clowns and was freaked out, so she called her dad to pick us up. We continued walking for around 30 minutes until our dad called us saying where he was parked. We all started walking fast toward the direction of my dad's car, but that's when the clown ran in front of us and tried to corner us. I think he knew that we were trying to leave. My sister and her friends were freaking out, and being naive and outspoken kid, I yelled at the clown to leave us alone. I remember that he tilted his head to the side when I said that, kind of like a confused dog. I grabbed my sister's silly string and told the clown that if he didn't leave us alone, I'd ruin his outfit with silly string. Again, I was a naive kid. I actually thought he would be scared of silly string. The clown didn't back off, so I stringed him all over his mask and costume. While I did this, my sister called our dad again, telling him to hurry where we were. The clown struggled to get the string off his mask so he could see, but we were already running. My dad came around the corner and we all rushed inside the car. The clown caught up with us, trying to open the car door, but it was locked. As my dad hit the gas, the clown slammed his hands on the back window. I remember watching him out the back window, trying to chase the car, but failing. I never figured out what was up with that clown, but there were other reports of a clown with the same description chasing kids in the area. Creepy clown, I hope the silly string ruined your outfit and that we never meet again. Before anything, a little backstory. I was 10 at the time and was visiting my hometown, Ecuador, for the summer. At the time, I knew just about everyone in my small little town of Alasi, and so did my parents, which is why they let me go on my own that day. Anyways, here's my encounter. Back when I was 10 years old, my family decided to take a visit to my hometown of Ecuador. We went for the summer and planned out just about our whole stay. One day, my mom and dad were getting ready to go to a wedding, and I was in the house with them. My big sister went over to a friend's house, and my other relatives had already left for the wedding. I was supposed to stay at home alone for the duration, but I saw that it was a beautiful day out and decided to ask my mom and dad to go to a park, and it was no more than 2 blocks away. They were reluctant at first, stating that there would be nobody to take care of me, but I argued that it was a beautiful day out. There was no way that the park would be empty. They kept getting dressed as I kept arguing until they finally gave in. They said that I can go to the park as long as I was back before dark. I agreed and ran outside to head for the park. It took me no more than 10 minutes to get there, and I was ready to make new friends and play around. But, oddly enough, there was nobody else in the park. It looked abandoned, which was weird, seeing how this is one of the 2 parks in the whole city. It should have been packed, but I paid no mind to it. I believe I ran over to a swing set or slide. It was 12 years ago, I can't remember, and I played around. As I played, I suddenly heard a voice from the distance. A clown was on the other side of the gate, motioning for me to get closer. Behind him was a white van, which I had noticed before, but just thought it was a delivery truck of sorts. I slowly started walking towards the clown and stopped a good distance away from him. He asked me in Spanish, "Hey kid, do you like clowns?" I nodded no to him, and he gave me that clown frown and then said, "Well then, let me see if I can change that." He opened up his car, and by looking inside, I saw there were only 2 boxes, though I wasn't sure what they were filled with. There was no seats, no posters, just 2 boxes, and then complete emptiness. Being a child, I still paid no mind to it and watched as he pulled out a deflated balloon. He wrapped his lips around the end and blew till the balloon was fully inflated. He tied the end and started to form the balloon into an animal. He showed it to me and I smiled. He then motioned me to come closer, to which I complied. He handed the balloon to me and said, "Do you like?" I nodded yes and gave him a little smile. He then grinned in the creepiest way possible. The grin was so creepy that even as a kid, I knew to back away a bit. The clown then said that if I wanted to see the rest of his tricks, I would have to get into the truck. I told him that the exit was on the other side of the park and I wouldn't be able to climb the small gate. He then said the few words that haunt me to this day. "Get a little closer and I'll carry you over. Then we can have loads of fun in my truck. Come on, kid." While saying this, he still had that creepy grin plastered across his face. I merely backed away and told him, "No, it's okay, sir." His grin turned into anger, as though he was annoyed at this. He placed his hands on his hip and said to me, "Aw, but we were going to have so much fun." Right when he said that, I heard a voice on the other side of the park yelling, "Son, son, I'm here to pick you up." I turned and saw a man that I recognized as a local neighbor. He was not my real father, obviously, but the little me knew to run over to him. I said nothing to the clown. I just ran to the man and gave him a hug. The man waved to the clown and said, "Thanks for keeping my kid entertained," to which the clown replied, "No problem." As we turned around, I was able to hear this man murmur, "Sick fuck." I looked at him and asked, "Sir, what exactly is going on?" He gave a sigh and explained everything. As it turned out, that was no real clown. He was a man that had been kidnapping kids all across Ecuador. He would lure kids with the clown costume and take them away to God knows what place. The people of my town had a feeling he was coming to our town, which is why the whole park was deserted. He said that he was walking by when he noticed that I was talking to the clown and ran over to basically save me. As he told me this, he also dialed the police to report the incident. We had finally arrived at my house, and this man said, "Be careful with who you talk to, son. Not everyone is who they seem." I gave him one final hug and gave him thanks for saving me from that sick fuck. He gave me a rub on the head and said, "It's okay, my boy. Now hurry on in. I have my own things to worry about." I nodded and ran in the house. Nobody was there, and by the time they had returned, I had decided not to tell anyone since I knew they would flip the fuck out. It took a while to forget, but especially with those words that kept reminding me of him. It took a while to forget about the whole incident, especially with those words that kept reminding me of him. But I soon forgot till I came across his page, and memories of that clown flooded my head. I'm not quite sure what happened to the sicko, but hopefully he is now behind bars. So to that creepy clown from long ago, let's not meet. So, last night, I had a very scary thing happen, and I'm not 100% sure what it was, but it reminded my friend and I of a clown, so that's what I'll call it. Maybe some background would be good. Last night was New Year's Eve. I'm 22, and I had 2 other friends over. A girl we'll call L, who's 20, and a guy we'll call K, and he is 19. I also have a 6-month-old baby girl who's asleep in the bedroom. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment in a bad part of town. There are many drug users and drug dealers around here, along with people who have rape and assault charges. It is not a safe place at night if you're a woman. My husband was at work and Kay was asleep. Elle and I are both short females, and we had stayed up smoking and listening to scary stories on YouTube. The drapes were open on one of the 2 living room windows so that we could watch the moon and stars while talking. Yes, we were both smoking weed, but we both heard the same things at the same time, so we know it was not in our minds. The apartment is a 2nd-floor apartment, and the stairs come up past the living room, as the door is on the far side of the living room and the window is across the room. This means you can hear anyone that is outside if you're sitting on the couch, as well as hear anyone on the stairs. Now, to the story. So, as I said, we were relaxing and smoking, just having a good time. All of a sudden, we heard a very loud, creaky metal sound. The only thing we could think of was one of those old-fashioned metal tricycles that were big in the 60s and 70s. This was confirmed to us when we heard 2 loud horn honks. Not like a car honk, more like those old horns you would put on your bike and you would squeeze the bulb on one end to make the sound come out of a funnel thing. Needless to say, she and I were both instantly freaked out. Since my apartment is set in a little pocket that most people ignore, because they are single bedroom apartments, they are filled with only stoners. So, to hear this outside, we were both really scared. The creaking sound got closer and we realized we never locked the door. I then realized that you could clearly see only the 2 of us girls on the couch since Kay had passed out from smoking. Elle whispered that the door was unlocked and I was getting up to fix that very issue. I stepped over Kay quietly as she and I are both freaking out because we're not trying to wake him up or the baby. Our bottom lock doesn't work due to it being broke, so only the top lock works. I tried to quietly lock it, but as I touched the cold metal, we heard something take about 3 or 4 steps quickly and quietly up the stairs, as if whoever was coming up was trying to stay really quiet. My eyes went wide, and I clicked the lock into place, which made a very loud noise in the quiet. Instantly, the sound on the steps stopped. She and I looked at each other in panic. I crept back over to her on the couch, trying not to have a panic attack. As soon as I reached the couch, Elle had whispered something to me. I don't remember what, because the moment after she spoke, we heard that metal creaking sound of the wheels turning. I crept back over to her on the couch, trying not to have a panic attack. As soon as I reached the couch, Elle had whispered something to me. I don't remember what, because the moment after she spoke, we heard that metal creaking sound of the wheels turning, leaving from in front of my place. Then the 2 honks happened again, once more a tiny bit away from the apartment. She and I rushed up to go to the window that is about 2 feet away, looking out in the dark to see what was going on. We saw nothing, but you can't see much from the window due to how the building sticks out on the right, and on the left there is an overhang from the roof that blocks more, so we can really only see the parking lot. I muttered, "Fucking clowns, honking their..." I was cut off by the honking again, as it was suddenly louder, as if it was coming back. We closed the drapes fast and hid on the couch. Neither of us were willing to go out and see if it was still there, so we don't know for sure what it was. I don't care if it was a ghost, a demon, a clown, or even normal. That was very scary, and we both felt in danger from this person, this creature, thing. Whatever you are, please, I never want to meet.